So the main characters in 5 Feet Apart are Stella and Will, and then Poe, and of course the supporting cast, the nurses are also very...
After I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and went to the park with our 3 kids, think of the ladies I could. She sort of pretended to play along, and at first our oldest daughter was loving on her, seeing her as maternal, while our middle daughter kept her distance. All along we thought maybe Blake wanted the rights, or that she might end up directing. But in reality, Colleen Hoover may not have wanted to give up her rights at all. Reports suggest she spent months scheming, determined to push Justin Baldoni out and seize full control of her book, utterly unbothered by dragging his reputation through the mud. Allegedly with Blake Lively by her side, she executed one of Hollywood's most underhanded moves, backing Blake's unverified accusations and taking the project from Justin as if it were nothing. Now, after all the chaos, she's reportedly planning to retire, leaving fans to wonder if she's escaping public humiliation or plotting her next move. Back in 2019, before the story became a global sensation, Justin had already recognized the potential of Colleen's book, exchanging emails praising it as romantic, tragic and heart. Excited by his genuine passion for adapting her work, she responded enthusiastically, even suggesting he play the male lead, Riley. When it came to casting, she recommended Blake Lively, claiming she was a fan, and Justin agreed. But behind the scenes, Colleen had already been maneuvering strategically. Everything seemed smooth until Kelsey and her team arrived, at which point Colleen reportedly betrayed Justin, switching allegiances to openly support Blake, who hadn't even read the book or known Colleen personally. Amid the ensuing chaos, when backlash hit, Colleen allegedly vanished from social media, leaving Justin and his family isolated while she mingled with the rest of the cast. Fans criticized her harshly for elevating a bigger name at Justin's expense. Yet the drama didn't stop. There, Colleen also attempted to release a controversial coloring book based on her parents' real-life marriage, which fans found shocking given its focus on trauma and heartbreak. And she had to pull it down almost immediately. From secretive manipulations and public betrayals to questionable merchandise attempts, the saga of Colleen Hoover, Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively has become a rollercoaster of controversy, leaving fans stunned, social media buzzing, and questions lingering about the extremes people will go to for control, recognition, and revenge in Hollywood. Honestly, the way I get into a character is through their style, and that's what fascinated me about Lily. After I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and went to the park with our 3 kids, think of the ladies. Meanwhile, people began to suspect that Colleen Hoover was bitter about selling the rights to her book before it truly took off, leaving her with far less potential earnings than she could have had. And of course, Justin Baldoni wasn't about to hand those rights back after everything that happened. Looking back, this seemed to mark the turning point when Colleen allegedly started resenting Justin, especially as he began making far more money than she ever could once the book blew up. Unlike Blake Lively, Colleen at least attempted to save face by pulling her controversial coloring book after fans ripped it apart. But that was just the tip of the iceberg in her ongoing drama. Rumors swirled about her son allegedly assaulting a 16-year-old girl he met on Snap, fully aware she was still in high school, and the teen claims that when she reached out to Colleen for support, she was allegedly blocked instead of being helped. Can you even believe that? A woman who built her career writing about abuse and trauma allegedly silenced a victim because it involved her own son. When Colleen was finally contacted, she reportedly refused to take accountability, defending her son and insisting the story had been distorted. She even claimed, I made sure to hold my son accountable for sending inappropriate messages. After an apology and offer of support, but many saw that as inadequate. This is the same woman who built her career on stories of abuse and survival. Yet when it mattered most, she was nowhere to be found. From her messy feud with Justin to her alleged betrayal of Blake Lively and the shocking accusations surrounding her son, Colleen Hoover's reputation has only grown shadier, and the internet isn't holding back. It's no longer just about a book adaptation, it's about someone claiming to champion survivors of trauma while consistently making decisions that scream the opposite. She even ghosted social media as the controversy escalated, coming across as unwilling to face consequences or take responsibility. The situation with It Ends With Us has become a tangled web of chaos, all pointing back to her. Receipts are surfacing fast, painting her in an increasingly negative light, especially as evidence emerges of how she and Blake Lively allegedly teamed up to wrest the rights away from Justin Baldoni and seize control of the entire project. Out of nowhere, Colleen flooded social media with praise for Blake after Justin faced allegations on set, which in hindsight appears to have been part of a carefully crafted strategy. Colleen called Blake honest, kind, and supportive, even thanking her for being a nice human. But seriously, is she for real? Pause for a second and think about it. This is the same Blake Lively who's allegedly been accused of running the film production into chaos to gain control for herself, obsessed with the movie's aesthetic at the expense of staying true to the heart of the book, pulling her way into having entire scenes rewritten and creating utter turmoil on set. And yet Colleen calls her a nice human, which sits wrong with a lot of people. The narrative Blake has pushed about Justin, if it were even remotely true, would almost certainly have drawn witnesses, crew, cast, anyone, but instead, silence prevailed. Meanwhile, Blake reportedly has decades of accusations trailing her, and she appears to have led the charge against Justin, with Colleen endorsing her every word. Fans are beginning to question whether Colleen is simply trying to stay in Hollywood's good graces, keeping herself aligned with powerful industry players rather than standing up for truth or accountability. The combination of alleged personal grievances, strategic social media maneuvers, and selective defense of certain individuals over others paints a picture of someone navigating Hollywood with ruthless calculation. From early resentment over losing potential profits to the backlash over her controversial coloring book and shocking accusations tied to her family, a pattern emerges. Colleen Hoover has repeatedly placed her interests and image above responsibility and morality, fueling speculation and outrage with every new revelation. The layers of drama, alleged betrayals, and controversies surrounding her, Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively have left fans and observers questioning her motives, and the chaos continues to dominate online conversations, making it clear that Colleen Hoover's story is far from over and that every decision she makes is under the harsh spotlight of public opinion. Some insiders have said things like, "If Colleen has her rights, I'll go anywhere, I'll follow this woman anywhere," illustrating the influence she still holds. Others report that calls from managers and agents on high-stakes decisions made it clear this was serious business, and yet it seems that Colleen's frustration grew as Justin didn't generate the kind of money she might have earned if someone like Blake had been in control. Whatever her true motivation, it's becoming increasingly clear that Colleen made a massive miscalculation, one she may never undo. Hollywood and the public are watching closely, and the internet is far harder to manipulate than ever before. People are waking up, seeing through crafted narratives, and Colleen is learning the hard way that actions have consequences. This pattern isn't new. Celebrities like Jennifer Lopez and others once believed they were untouchable, only to discover that public scrutiny and accountability always catch up hand. Now Colleen is absolutely feeling the pressure.
We had a big long break in between because we had two strikes. We had a writer strike and an actor strike happen. So we had two intimacy.
She genuinely seemed to believe she could pull this off quietly, but it's painfully obvious she underestimated how easily people could connect the dots. Footage soon surfaced that raised major red flags, strongly suggesting Colleen may have been plotting behind Justin's back, especially during a CNN interview with Blake Lively when Blake was asked about a possible sequel and casually stated she would be on board if Colleen had the rights. That comment stunned viewers, because the rights were still legally owned by Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios, making Colleen's apparent confidence feel far too convenient. Naturally, speculation exploded about what Colleen and Blake may have been discussing behind closed doors, especially as Colleen sat calmly while Blake made what many interpreted as a chilling remark about reclaiming the rights from Justin, a moment that felt less like a slip and more like a subtle confession. By that point, many believe Colleen and Blake had already tried every possible tactic to pressure Justin into selling, but he refused to budge. And then everything suddenly clicked when Colleen quietly launched her own production company, Heartbones Entertainment. In October, Variety revealed that Colleen and her partner were starting a new company specifically to handle adaptations of her books, prompting many to question why she would make such a move unless she expected those rights to return to her. That same month, Colleen also switched to a top-tier law firm known for representing A-list celebrities, a move widely viewed as strategic rather than coincidental, suggesting legal groundwork was being laid for something major. When you connect the dots, the timing becomes impossible to ignore, especially considering Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' immense wealth and influence, which only fuels speculation that they could have helped orchestrate a plan to push Justin out. Even more troubling is the belief that Colleen and Blake were already acting as if the rights were theirs months earlier, despite Justin still owning them legally. This is where the theory takes an even darker turn, as many now believe Blake's harassment claim against Justin wasn't random but calculated, potentially designed to trigger a morality clause reportedly included in the original contract. Such clauses are common in entertainment deals and allow rights to revert if serious allegations arise. And according to reports, this clause stated that if Justin were accused of sexual misconduct, the rights would automatically return to Colleen. If that happened, many believe the next step would have been handing control straight to Blake. Suddenly, the lawsuit, the timing, and the legal maneuvering no longer look accidental but deliberate, as one accusation set off a chain reaction that saw Justin dropped by his agency, isolated by the industry, and his career effectively frozen overnight. Whether every detail holds up under scrutiny remains to be seen, but the coordination, timing, and legal precision have convinced many that this was never chaos at all, but a carefully executed plan that ultimately left Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively free to take control of the project. And that's when it all clicked into place. This wasn't chaos. It was a calculated hit, an underhanded business maneuver disguised as a #MeToo moment. With everything pointing toward Colleen Hoover being far from the innocent figure she wants everyone to believe, explosive evidence emerged, including a full Reddit thread from someone claiming to be on the It Ends With Us crew, posted months before anyone outside the industry knew there were issues on set, suggesting much of this may have been orchestrated from the very beginning. According to reports, Blake Lively reportedly felt uncomfortable around Justin Baldoni, particularly after he allegedly complimented her outfit on set. While Justin was dissatisfied with the initial cut of the film and hired his own editing team to fix it, Blake, allegedly unhappy, pushed to bring in her own editors, but Sony refusing to back down. She reportedly threatened to go public with sexual harassment accusations unless Sony gave her full creative control, prompting the studio to ban Justin from the project and hand the reins to Blake. However, things quickly spiraled into chaos as Blake brought in her own team of editors, jetted off to Italy for another project, and left the film in disarray, ultimately having to hire a professional editor to salvage it. Adding another layer of turmoil, Taylor Swift intervened when she discovered the composer had a rocky history with her, issuing an ultimatum that forced Sony to fire him. Looking at the bigger picture, many now believe the entire fiasco was orchestrated from the start to damage Justin's reputation for personal gain, with Colleen positioned to benefit through her newly formed production company, Heartbones Entertainment, while Blake gained full creative control. Timing was crucial. Blake filed her lawsuit, Colleen rushed to support her, Justin presented solid evidence, and Colleen went radio silent, disappearing from Instagram by January 22nd. As if anticipating the storm of scrutiny about to hit, the real question remains, what exactly was she hiding? This story isn't just about a book adaptation. It's about power, control, and influence. With Colleen allegedly unwilling to let her story be adapted without her authority over how it was told, the trail of breadcrumbs suggests a carefully orchestrated attempt to sideline Justin Baldoni, with Blake Lively possibly playing a larger role in the drama than previously assumed. Between the editing battles, team conflicts, public threats, legal maneuvers, and social media disappearances, a clear pattern emerges. Alliances formed and broke, strategic moves were timed to perfection, and conventional Hollywood etiquette was disregarded, all in the pursuit of ultimate control. Fans, insiders, and observers have begun piecing together a narrative where greed, ambition, and influence appear to take precedence over artistic integrity and professional collaboration. Each move meticulously calculated to achieve specific goals while maintaining a public image that masks the underlying intent. With Colleen's sudden retirement, questions are multiplying. Was this the conclusion of her plan, an attempt to exit before facing consequences, or a way to quietly retain leverage behind the scenes? Regardless, the accumulation of events, actions, and perfectly timed moves suggests a level of orchestration that cannot be ignored, leaving the public and industry insiders questioning the true motivations behind the headlines and social media posts. This story has long since surpassed a simple book adaptation. It's about power, control, and the lengths people will go to manipulate perception and reality in Hollywood, with Colleen Hoover and Blake Lively allegedly at the center, leaving a trail of controversy, unanswered questions, and speculation that continues to captivate audiences and industry watchers alike. Could Blake have manipulated Colleen, feeding her stories about Justin supposedly making her uncomfortable on set? Imagine Blake, looking stressed, pulling Colleen aside, whispering, "Girl, I don't know what to do. Justin's been making me feel so uncomfortable, but if I speak up, it could ruin everything we've worked for. I know how much this movie means to you. I just want to protect you from the truth." Perhaps Colleen genuinely believed she was doing the right thing, but zoom out, and a more sinister picture emerges. Blake potentially stirring the pot behind the scenes, whispering to other cast members like Brandon Skindler, spinning stories about Justin while hyping up her own role and positioning herself as the hero. Classic Hollywood manipulation. Get everyone on your side, throw Justin under the bus, and become the champion fighting for what's right. This situation reads like a full-blown thriller: backstabbing, power moves, and manipulation at every turn. But just when you think you've got it figured out, the stakes get higher. What if this wasn't just about a movie at all? By now, Colleen has nearly vanished from the public eye, retreating from social media, leaving fans in the dark and sparking rumors that she may regret ever getting involved as everything begins to crumble. So is Colleen really retiring, or is she disappearing before even more explosive secrets come to light? Meanwhile, Blake Lively is starting to look like the true mastermind behind the chaos, the lies, the manipulation, the perfectly timed allegations, all unraveling in real time. Justin Baldoni entered the situation with nothing but pure intentions, while Colleen and Blake were reportedly scheming from the very start. From Colleen's turn against Justin with no evidence to under-the-radar moves designed to seize his rights, something shady is clearly brewing, and the burning question remains: was Colleen a pawn in Blake's elaborate game, or did she have a